We got enough people on now? Yes, okay. Are we ready for tonight's Gishmak? It's the Gishmak Daf tonight. On the bottom line. Yeah, we're on the bottom line of Lamed Omid Beis. Yeah. Fine. So Tanya Rebbe Yomer Goli v'Yadul Lefnei Misha Amar V'Hayayla. It's known in front of Hashem, right? Somebody who said, and the world was Shekain Mechabed Sheben Mechabed Es Imai Yosemei Avav. A son gives more covet to his mother than his father. Mepnei on Tamid Aleph now. Pnei Shemishaldalte B'Dvarim, because his mother, talks nicely to him, right? A very interesting term from Rashi is Mefata Oisai. Right? She whatever, she coerces him with words. So she tells him, "Oh, you're such a good boy," and so Mele has an easier time being machabed his mother. That's why it says kabed es avicha v'esimecha. Right? Father comes first because mother is a more natural thing. So Hashem is saying, father should go first. And it's also known that a son is scared of his father more than his mother because he teaches him Torah. I don't know what that means. Whatever. That's why Hashem puts the fear of a mother before the Moira, because it's easier to fear your father because he teaches you Torah. Sounds like what? So why does teaching Torah have to instill fear? I mean, it's a proof to the school system, maybe, right? But I don't know. I'm not sure what that means.
Yeah. Nobody has a tattoo on his arm that says "Dad."
Taka. That's a good point. Yeah, very good. So anyway, so that's why the Torah put by covet the father before mother, and by Yira they put the mother before the father. Fine. Tani Tana Kamid Rav Nachman. Because when a person is being mitzaras parents, Amar Kodesh Baruch Hu, Yafa Sisi, Shaloi Darti B'Neim. It's a good thing that I did, that I'm not hanging out with them. Shalmali Darti B'Neim Tziyaruni, because if I did, then I am not. Then I would have been bitzar. So therefore, that makes Hashem happy. Because yesterday's daf we said that when there is proper parents, proper covered for the parents, then they do. Then Hashem is there. Fine. If you're over an avera hidden, right? It's like you're pushing away the feet of the Shechina. The Shemaim is my seat, and the land is my stool. Right? So meaning the Shechina is everywhere. Right? That's why there's such a thing as tznius from the Rabbeinu Shalom. Right? Officially, you're supposed to get, you're not supposed to walk around undressed, and you have this dinei tznius, side for men, side for women, because the Shechina is around. Right? But when you go do an Aveira of the Seiser, so that means you're showing that you don't believe the Shekhinah is really there. Right? So Mamela, that's like pushing away. Now,
excuse me.
Yeah.
I just thought of it as you said that. I mean, am I asking something very stupid? And the Shekhinah we say is whatever that means, a female attribute of the Rabbanan Shalom. So then that means that men should be more tzniistic in B'tzina than women.
What does
that mean?
What are you saying? That
if the Shechina is the one is the attribute that's around, right?
Right.
I mean, obviously, I don't know what I'm talking about. So that the man should be more tznius than a woman because it's the female attribute of Hashem that he's
You're saying like that. I hear.
Yeah,
I can't say I ever thought about that, but the
I
pizzas
didn't
to
tell
be the
Mama
skin.
till you said that.
I hear. I don't know. I don't know what to do
Okay.
with that. Fine. But no, but there's I think more important than that, especially for 2 days before Rosh Hashanah. Look at this Tosfos here. Second Tosfos down. So Tosfos is the Gemara said anybody who's over an avera b'seiser, it's as if he's pushing away the Shechina. Yeah. Second Tosfos kol over avera b'seiser kilu doicha ragli Shechina hainu temotzi kayif liyitrei. That's when he could theoretically be kovish his yetzer. What is Tosfos saying there? What do you mean when he could? And if he didn't, and let's say you could not be kovish yetzer, then you're not. Again, I'm just saying the Tosfos the way I understand it, right? The way I'm understanding the Tosfos is that, and if you could not control your yetzer hara, then you didn't push the Shechina away, right? That means.
See, is that the Gemara? Is there a Gemara like that?
Yes, in Chagiga, that's what he says.
Right, I'm saying the Gemara says that we just assume if a person does an Avera mitzad, it's about a mummer, no?
Well, the Gemara in Chagiga asks, right. That's what Tosfos says, that, how could it be that you're pushing away Hashem, right? You're pushing away Hashem if it says that if anybody feels that they have to do an Avera, go wear dark clothes, black clothes, go out of town, wear black clothing and do the Avera.
Right? So it's Mechalik. It says one of them is where you have a taiva to do it.
Well, right? The Gemara in Chagiga answers. One is talking about where he's able to be kovish his yetzer, and one is where he's not able to kovish his yetzer. So whatever it is you see from here, and it's an important, it's a little crazy, scary thing to say, right? But it seems like there's such a thing as you did not have bechira to do an avera. You didn't have bechira to do an avera. Right? So, no, because I once heard a shiva we saw rise. I could post it. It's the best shir in the history, right? Gershon spent many a long nights driving to Siyumim for our Siyumim, and he asked me to send him shiur, right? He basically goes on this type of thing because, unfortunately, you got kids, boys with taivas. I'm even Yavin what I'm talking about, right? And they think, and because the Svarim HaKedoshim say you're gonna burn and you're gonna this and this happens to a kid and he's miyayish on the whole Rosh Hashanah. He's forget it. You told me I'm gonna burn and whatever. And Rabbi Reisman's tiny, it could be that you didn't have a choice. It was not. You didn't have a bechira, and you see clear from this Tosfos that that's what he's saying. There's such a thing as being. Now that doesn't mean that somebody should do an aver and say to the Rebbeinu Shalom, by the Hashamnos, Ayin Tosfos Kiddushin Lamed Aleph, right? That's not what I'm saying, but it's an important concept for doing tshuva.
That's one of his famous jokes. This line. Was you put on shkarim and you go place and you do the avera. So he said it happened. I did it. It happened to me once. I went there and I met all my friends there.
Yeah, right. So misery loves company.
He's saying, in humor, what Reisman's dark brush is. It's almost the same thing.
Yeah. Right. So that's okay. But whatever it is, the point that. Meaning tshuva can be done on everything. That's the bottom line. That's the bottom line to take from this. It's a good thing Zev just logged in now because he would not like this Tosfos. Second Tosfos down. Zev, Ayin Sham, you can talk about it later. Second Tosfos. Yeah. Anyways, weiter. Amar Rabbi Shua Levi. Also, Adam Shiahalach.
Well, Lamed Aleph or Lamed Beis?
Lamed Aleph. We're not here. Halavai. Parents would be very happy. At 8:47, we were on Lamed Beis. No, we're on Lamed Aleph.
Lamed Aleph, the second Tosfos? Okay.
Second Tosfos, yeah. So Amar Rabbi Shua ben Levi. Also, Ladam Shiyahalach Arba Amas Bekoimas Skufa. You're not allowed to walk, hori. Shenemar Meloi Chalaretz Kavoda. Again, the whole world is full of the cover of the Rebbeinu Shalom. So if you walk straight up like that, then it shows that you're pushing away the cover of the Rebbeinu Shalom. Fine. Rav Huna Breidu Rabbi Shua.
Pachas Ma'adal Amos is okay.
What, to walk hori?
Yeah, maybe that's a dollar Amos, but Pachas Medallar Amos, am I right?
So I think it's not considered walking. It's a good ha'ara, right? Let's say you're just walking 2 amas, so therefore you could be a balgaiva, right?
They bring down on the side. The Torah takes it out. It's not garrison.
Yeah. Okay. So very good. So that, yes, thank you. But so the
The
question is,
Marsha has an explanation. They bring down the Marsha.
yeah. What
That if
what's
you
the, what
walk,
is the Marsha
because
saying?
he says that as a rule, when it comes to the Dal Amas is your makam. So when a person walks 4 amas in this, standing straight, he's acting as if his makam, meaning his Dal Amas that he's walking, is just his, and the Rebbeinu Shalom has no makam in his Dal Amas, because Dal Amas is that is your makam in general. You're always your kind of your Dal Amas,
Right.
whatever it is. So when you
It's
walk
not-
4 amas, you're showing your 4 amas are just yours alone, and there's no place for the Rebbeinu Shalom.
Right. Yeah. Good. So that, I mean, okay, that's something along the lines of that your Abba Amas is not considered a movement, right? So because look at the next line. Rav Huna Breder Yeshua Loy Maski Arba Amas. Here the gears is automatic, right? We all know this, right? Any kid on the basketball court. Loy Miski Arba Amas Begili Arosh. You shouldn't walk more than 4 hours Gili Arosh. Omar Shechina Lamala Miroshi. Because he said the Shechina is on top of my head. Right? So, meaning, so that's why. But okay, what about 2 amas? You're not pushing the Shechina with 2 amas, right? The Shechina is not on your head if you only walk 2 amas. No, it must be that's called a movement. Is anything more than 4 amas? There's an interesting nafkamina is for brachas you have to cover your head. That we've seen. There you can't use your hand, right? Because your hand is considered from the same guf. It's not considered a covering. Most poskim say that for walking around, your yarmulke falls down or your yarmulke falls off the head like in a basketball court. Then you don't have to go like this with your sleeve, like this with your sleeve. You can just go like this with your skin, because that covering is not to cover your head with something. It's to remind you that there's a shechina on top of you. So that you just need something on your head. I'm saying you can use a can too. So it doesn't, meaning the point, there's 2 reasons to wear a head covering is out covered for the Rebbeinu Shalom when you make a bracha. That you can't, that has to have an actual cover, which your hand does not suffice. But to put the pressure, not the pressure, but to have that reminder that there's a shechina above your head, that your bare hand would work too. Okay, fine.
Until Rav Huna Breder Yeshua, no one wore a yarmulke?
That's also a good point. Yeah, so that's then
He was a European. They were all Sfardim. He's a Polish. So he said they have to cover the heads.
How does it work with
How
does it work? How does it work with the Sfardim? The Sfardim don't have this.
It's a hanhaga. Just, I mean, Sfardim are noyegit in outside. Well, there's different hanhagas.
But we don't have to. I mean, we don't.
It's clearly not a halacha. It's not a halacha. It's a hanhaga.
So I mean, a person wakes
Right.
up 2 a.m, has to, ashiyatza, so he doesn't have to walk with a yarmulke.
He does. He's got to put. Yeah, he does. Why not? Well, some say when you're indoors, there's already something over your head, right? So that's.
I thought it's basically a chiyuv now. It's no longer.
So there's a taz. There's a taz that says that nowadays that yidden wear yarmulkes, it could actually be an issur d'oraisa of b'chukesem lo yisei leichu to go without a yarmulke. That's the taz. The taz upgrades it to a d'oraisa based on that. That since only yidden wear yarmulkes, not only yidden, but goyim don't wear yarmulkes. If you walk around without a yarmulke, you're being like a goy. There's a taz that says that.
Well, there's a lot of Muslims who wear stuff. I don't know if they always wear it, but I know they wear.
But to not wear is certainly like a goyish thing. Like to not wear.
Some goyim wear and some don't. Is that considered a goyish thing?
Everybody forgot about the Pope.
Most the Pope does.
Well, I'm saying I don't know. I don't know if it's a minhag of Muslims to wear, but I know there are definitely sects that wear it at some point.
Yeah, but the point is most goyim don't wear yarmulkes, so therefore that's what the Taz is saying.
No one's confusing you with the Pope.
I didn't say the Pope. I said Muslims wear it. And there's a lot of Muslims out there.
The Muslims who went on the Hajj often wear it.
Right, but most goyim don't wear head covers, so therefore that's what the Taz means. Okay, Shol ben Almana.
According to the Taz,
You could be over with doing something
Shev al-
passive.
So that's it. Yeah, that's what the tas. It's
Like you're
interesting.
not doing
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah, you're right. 100%. That's a good. That's Sheva al tasa. You're being like a guy. That's
Isn't
a
that the
good
same
point.
thing with tefillin chalmud? Isn't that the whole hack with tefillin chalmud? Let's say you're by a minion that doesn't wear that wears tefillin, and you walk in without tefillin. And that wouldn't that be the same problem?
Yeah, yeah. But that's different. That's out not to make
Like this guy
like
did.
this guy to do. Let's like this guy to do. Yeah, yeah.
If you're going back
according-
to B'chul Koseichim Lo Seleichel, that's a lav. So by doing nothing, even though it's a lav shame b'maisa, you're still being mekayim a lav.
You're saying you're not going to get malchus. That's what you're saying.
You might not
Maybe,
get malchus,
Yitzi.
but it's still a
Yitzi, you're
lav.
right. Maybe you're not going to get malchus. Yeah, Gershon, what are you saying?
According to the Taz, it has nothing to do with wearing a yarmulke. It has to do with not doing what they're going to do. So wearing a baseball cap would be the same thing as not wearing a yarmulke.
Maybe.
Special
Is it-
mitzvah to wear one during davening. Baseball cap. It's a special
Yeah.
minhag nowadays.
Yeah, it could be it's better to wear a baseball cap than no hat. It could be. That's a difference. Smooth. That was yesterday's stuff, right? He threw something on his head in order to go bring his kid to school, right?
Not according to the Taz, though. According to the
No,
Taz, it's not a yarmulke.
Enochanami. Yeah. Okay, let's go back to Abba Shaul ben Almana Achas is very interesting. The Gemara. Why is it calling him Ben Almana? Why don't you just call him a Yosem? Right? So I'm not sure. But Shaul ben Almana Achas is Rebbe Eliezer. The son of an Almana asked Rebbe Eliezer, Abba Omer Hashkini Mayim. Let's say my father says, give me water to drink. Ve'ima Omer Hashkini Mayim. And my mother says to give me to drink. Ezemem koidem. Who do I give it to first? Amalei, Hanach covered imecha, put down the cover of your mother, Va'asei koid avicha, and you do the cover of your father. Why? Sha'ata v'imcha chayam b'kveid avicha. Because you and your mother are chayiv in the cover of your father. So therefore, since she's also chayiv in his cover, so he comes first. Right? So again, that's also not the women are not getting a good from between last night's daf and today's daf, right? So we'll get back to this in a minute. Let's just finish up the Gemara. Then he came from Yeshua. Amar Loi Kach. He said the same thing, the same answer. Meaning, this is a kid. We'll see from the Gemara. This kid from the next line. This kid is obviously one of those kids that likes to run around and ask rabbi. Like I call them rabbi chasers, right? And he wants to hear what this rabbi has to say, that rabbi has to say. So they both said the same thing. Right, Omar Allah.
Even the first time he asked that it wasn't the Geya, he has no father.
Right. So he says, Omar Allah, Rebbe, Niskar Shema, what happens if they get divorced? Now the wife is not chayiv to be mechabed the husband because they're not married. So now who goes first? Omar Allah, from between your eyelashes. Nikr sheben almanato. It's nikr that you're the son of an almana, meaning because of all the crying, you lost a lot of eyelashes, and must be you're a yasam. So hata lehen mayim b'seifel, put water into a bucket for them. The kakeh lehen katarnagolan, and then make a how do you say it? You make noise like a rooster, right? He's telling him a crazy answer because, but she's basically telling that it's the same. And he's making latzanis out of the whole thing. Why? Because, so Rashi says, he chap that this kid is not asking halacha l'maisa. Right? So he got upset that why are you coming over here and talking about your father, you're divorcing your mother, and who to give cover to if you're a yasam. Okay,
what's wrong with asking the shayla? I'm saying.
So all right. So what's wrong with it? So it seems like because he didn't say that it was theoretical.
So what? We never talk theoretical in the Gemara. I'm saying.
You do, yeah, but say it. Say it.
Say that it's theoretical.
Yeah. Say it's theoretical.
Well, when you ask a Rav Shaila, you're telling him it's. I'm not asking. You never ask him a theoretical.
I just want to tell you something. The answer when it's theoretical is so different than when it's practical. It's scary. Maybe there's a siyata d'shmaya, but it's it's when it's theoretical, they're not giving it the same.
Could you give me one example like you have in all your years? One example.
I think I'm going to remember anything.
Okay.
I'll have to think about it. But
First of all, if it's
And
theoretical,
this year is
you're not
full
gonna
of
just ignore
examples
that
like this.
message.
All these guys asking you basic questions. I don't know why you have to go so far.
Okay. All right. I'm sorry.
there's a different chiddush here. The kid is an almana. Why didn't he have what? I mean, what about him not? He didn't. It seemingly he didn't treat the almana, the yasam. I'm sorry, so great.
Maybe he's asking for a friend. I don't know.
Well, you know the answer that I always ask when somebody asking for a friend. I say, I don't know why the friend doesn't ask for a friend. Right? See, that's what I got my own Torah, but that's what you do.
Maybe his parents were divorced.
And then he became a yosem?
Yeah.
Maybe. No, okay, but that's what it's saying. Now, what's with this din? Right? Is what's the story here with the wife being mechabed that you give the cover to the father? So the Pischei Tshuva brings, not everybody agrees to him, but the Pischei Tshuva and Shulchan Aruch brings that this is only by things that the wife has to do for the husband as part of her marital duties, right? Meaning she has to make food for him, she has to clothe, whatever, she has to take care of the household chores. So therefore, if the father asks for a drink and the mother asks for the drink, well, since the mother is mechuyev to get a drink for the father, so therefore the father comes first, right? But if it comes to something else, let's say the father asks for the son to help him out in business, and the mother asks for a drink, then the Pischei Tshuva says, no, then the mother's not mechuyev to help the husband out with the business. So therefore, he can listen to the mother or the father. You hear the difference? Meaning, in not all areas of marriage is the wife mechuyev to be there for the husband. This is what the Pischei Tshuva brings. Right? For the stuff that she's paka mechuyev to do for her husband, so then he goes, and the husband asks for it, so that goes first. But if the wife is not supposed to be involved, right? Lamashal.
What's the chiluk? What's the chiluk?
Because let's say the father asks to help me build the sukkah. Right,
I understand, and this one asks for the food, and she doesn't belong in his business. Lamaisa, he's asking.
And so is she.
Yeah, but she has a chiv to.
No, she does. She has no chiv to help him build the sukkah. She doesn't.
She has a chiv to listen to her husband.
And so the husband has a chiv to listen to the wife too.
So I'm asking. So that,
yeah, does not.
I'm asking you. So then
no,
why in the Indian that they're both involved in, why in that Indian does he have to listen to the father?
Listen, Lamaisa, we paskin like you're saying, that the father says first, then he goes first. But the Pischei Tshuva brings, the Pischei Tshuva brings that it's not so pashut, because not all areas does the wife mechuyev to help the husband. That's all. That's all he's bringing. They're saying that it's not so pashut. It's not so pashut, right? So like Lamashal, they both need clothing. Let's say a guy's parents don't have clothing. So who goes first? The mother. He only has a few dollars. He could either buy his father a new suit for Yom Tif or his mother a new dress. Who goes first? Pashtus is the mother goes first, because the father's chayav to get a dress for his wife, right? At that A and B, women's clothing is more important than the man's clothing.
What does the father's chiyuv of getting his wife a dress have to do with the son?
Because that's what the Gemara says. That's what the Gemara is saying. That why is the father come first? Because the mother is mechuyev to do the thing for the father too. So Mamela, they're both chayiv to do for the father. Okay, and in this case, by the clothing, it's the opposite. Right? The father has to clothe the mother. The mother doesn't have to clothe the father. The father has to clothe the mother. Right? Yeah. I forgot who says it. I'm looking at it now, but okay. Whatever. We got a lot more to do, but that's another food for thought based on this Gemara. Fine. Darash Ula Rabba Pischa de Nasiya. So Ula Rabba darshan at the doorway to the Beit Nasiya. Right, all the Malchei Oretz will know Hashem. Maimer Picha lo nemar ela Imre Picha. It doesn't say Maimer Picha, right, which is a lashon yachid. Ela Imre, plural. It's also a hard Gemara to understand. But when Hashem said Anoichi, right, the first two are the Seres Hadibris. I am Hashem, and Lo Yilcha, you shouldn't have any other gods. So Amru Umasayil, people in the said, Hashem, of course, he's saying that the first two mitzvahs in the Seres Hadibris is Am Hashem, your God, and don't have any other gods. Why wouldn't he say that? He's the one talking, right? So Kivan Shomer Kaveda Savicha Vesimecha, but since the third, it's not the third, it's the fifth, right? Kaveda Savicha Vesimecha, Chazru V'Haidu L'Mamaras Arishonos. Then they said, oh, okay, so it's not just about himself. He's telling you what you have to have covered to, because he's saying, well, he's not a parent, Hashem, even though we just said that he is a parent, but right, he's the third of the parents, but they're saying the Maimaras Arishonis that Hashem is telling us what we have to have covered for the parents and himself, etc., etc. Rabba Amar Mayhacha, Rosh Dvarcha Emes. Right, we say this on Rosh Hashanah. Rosh Dvarcha Emes. The Rosh, the top of your words, is Emes. Rosh Dvarcha v'loy Soif Dvarcha. It's mashma that it's Rosh Dvarcha, not the end. Meaning only the beginning words of Hashem is true and not the end. Elam Soif Dvarcha Nikar Sherosh Dvarcha Emes. From the end of your words, like we just said, from Kabbalah Savicha Vesimecha, we figure out that his Rosh Dvarcha is taka true, and therefore we need to listen to the first two of the Dibros.
This is wild, Rupsi Yaakov.
It's
wild.
This is a very hard Gemara to understand. Meaning, what we're doubting all of a sudden Hashem, and Hashem is saying that this is for him. Every time I sing who's the ones that say you have to listen to the Chachamim? The Chachamim said it, right? So I always thought I'm a big apikoros, right? That's nothing. That's nothing compared to this, right?
Yeah.
I think the Gemara is saying that the original understanding of Luma Sa'ilim is that it's all for Hashem. The Saif, they said it's for us. Kabbalah Zavicha provides, it's not for the parents, it's for the kid. Right. So Anochi Hashem Lekech is also for us, not for the Eivishter.
Correct. I'm saying, but you're right, and also it's saying that the Ummah Sa'ilim questioned it. Klal Yisrael did not question it.
Right? But Yaakov, it's not. I don't think it's like saying that the emes is not. Meaning, it's not Be'etzem questioning the emes of the fact that Lo Yevacha and Anochi Hashem Lekecha. It's whether that emes was acknowledged in the belt or not. Meaning, did the Ummah Olam acknowledge it? They were even able to acknowledge it. I think it's a chiddush that they were even able to acknowledge the emes once they heard of Kabbalah Sivik V'Yasemecha.
You're saying it's a chiddush.
Meaning it's not. It's a chiddush mitzad them, not mitzad Kadosh Baruch Hu. Of course, the Kadosh Baruch Hu's emes and everything.
No, of course it's not a chiddush. You're right.
It took Kabbalah Savicha for them to arrive at the emes. That's
correct. 100%. That's 100% right, Akiva. But the point is that the Gemara is putting it in there that there's a doubting. Like Hashem has to prove himself from the fifth mitzvah in order to prove himself the first two, right? To prove the first two.
I don't know if it's a doubting. They didn't arrive at the emes until they heard Kabbalah Savicha V'Yasemecha. Mitzad themselves. Mitzad, they're cooking how they see the world. They didn't arrive at that emes of Anochi and Lo Yevacha. One second, there's plenty of people who deny Hashem every day. So like,
right, but we don't care about them.
So but there's a chiddush in even the Velt being able to recognize the Kadosh Baruch Hu. Yeah, that is a chiddush.
Yeah. Okay.
Avram Avinu was the only person that recognized Hashem at the time.
Right. No, I hear that. Okay, so let's see. So Bomi name Rav Ula. They asked the Shaila from Rav Ula. Is Rav Ula the same as Ula? Anybody know? Or is that different? I think we had it before. I thought we said maybe it's a different Ula. Like, why all of a sudden?
What are you asking?
Is
Ula different?
Yes, is Ula different than Rav Ula?
I'll look it up.
It looks from this Gemara like there's three of them. There's Ula, Rabba, and Rav Ula.
Yeah, so it must be. I thought we had one say that it's different. But anyways, ad hechem kibbut avim. Until how far do you have to go kibbut avim? Amar lehem tzuu re'u. This is mamish. This next Gemara is mamish fascinating, especially the way we come out halacha l'maisa from it. What this one guy did in Ashkelon, one time the Chachamim needed business from him. Now clearly it has to be that the business was for him, not for his father. The Shishim Riboy Schar. They need to give him 600,000 coins. And the Mafteach, the key, was under his father's head. And it doesn't say the Gemara that he was sleeping, but the Pashut understanding is that he was sleeping, right? Rashi says he was sleeping. The Gemara doesn't say that. And he was not mitzarim, and therefore he couldn't do the business, right? Some Rabbi Yudah Mashmuel, Shalom was Rabbi Eliezer, and Heichen Kibbut Aveim. Amar Loi, Tzuruma, also Avi Kachavim Echad La'avi Ba'ashkelon B'dam Ben Sina Shmai, Bikshu Min Chachamim Avanim LaEphod. The Chachamim needed stones for the ephod. I'm assuming this is just a different version of the same story, and that it didn't happen twice, right? B'shishim riboy schar. The Rav Kana Masni b'shmainim riboy. Some say it was 800,000. And the key was under his father's head, and he wasn't mitzarim. Right? So that's how far you have to go with kibbut avei. We'll get back to this in a minute. A year later, Hashem gave him a schar. He had a para aduma, which is obviously worth a lot of money. And they came to him. If I wanted whatever amount of money, you would give it to me. I'm only going to take the amount of money that I lost last year because of the covet of my father. So this guy, Dom Ben Asin, is clearly a big tzaddik. Now,
isn't it a little mud that they will bring a riot from a guy who doesn't even have a chiyuv of kibbut avim?
Okay, correct. So therefore, right now we're going to answer your kasha, because the Rav Moshe Feinstein and the Yad Moshe says that this was totally shaloi kedin, and the din is very clear that you should wake up your father, even if the money is just for you. That is David on? I don't think he's on now.
What do you mean, a guy? You'd say a guy?
No, a yid. A yid. This Maisa is shaloi kedin. It's in Dibras Moshe. I forgot where the Bar Welcome is. I could try and find it. It's shaloi kedin. He should have woken him up. The father's simcha from being woken up would have been, but that his son is being matzliach would. Rav
Moshe writes that down.
Rav Moshe says it beferish. Rav Moshe says it. I didn't look it up myself. I saw it quoted. I'm looking for it now.
We bring a riot from a guy. Correct.
So Rav Moshe says, so what's with this guy? It must be he knew that his father didn't care that he should make money, and therefore he didn't wake him up. That's where Rav Moshe says it. Rav Moshe says if you have a business deal and your father's going to be happy, then you mitzar your father. That's what Rav Moshe says.
A yid thinks like that. You know what I mean? The father will be happy.
It could be. It could be. That's the way Rav Moshe understands the din.
He says it's shaloi kedin, the whole thing you mechuyev to, and why does Rav Moshe bring a riot in it?
Mechuyev, the kid could do whatever he wants. The kid could do whatever
to wake
he
up
wants.
the father.
He says because that's what's going to make the father happy, right? That's what's going to make the father happy. So if he wants you to wake him up, so then you do it. Right? That's where Rav Moshe says it.
What I wanted to ask, the Gemara asked from Kibbud Avim, Adeichan Kibbud Av.
Right.
The riots from Moira, the riots from Yira.
Right. So
not waking your father is not kibbutz.
Very good. Very good. That's also, it's a Gershon saying a good point. It says, how far are you mechuyev to be mechabed? There's a big difference between being mechabed and being mitzar. Right? If a guy has a big business deal, which we're going to get to this tomorrow's daf. That's Hashem. Right? A guy has a big business deal, right? And because he has to go on a business trip, he's not gonna do kibbut avei, right? Because let's say he's going for a 2-week business trip. So for 2 weeks he's not going to see his parents, right? And he's not going to be able to talk to them, right? Let's say. So now, does he not do the business deal? Avadi does the business deal, right? Because it's not being mitzar them. He's just not being mechabed them. That he's not mechuyev to take a loss for
Wasn't Yosef punished?
What?
Or wasn't Yaakov punished for going away too long?
Yes.
So shouldn't that be that we shouldn't do the business deal?
No, because yeah, well that's a whole
I'm gonna pass on it. I appreciate it.
Hold on, Mike, you gotta
I appreciate it. I can't have two suppers.
Michael, we gotta mute. We gotta mute.
I understand if somebody has his mother, he calls his mother every day and he's going on a business trip for 2 weeks and she's expecting this because she's an almana. She's expecting him to call every day. He's not allowed to go?
That's the problem. To learn from Yosef Atzadik is a problem. To learn from Yosef is a problem. But Yosef wasn't going. He was going to learn. Well, he wasn't going. He was going to get married.
He got punished.
Yaakov.
Yes. I mean, Yaakov.
Yaakov got punished.
Yaakov got punished. Yeah. Yaakov got punished. But yeah, the pashtus is that you're not mechuyev out covered. Lack of covered, you're not allowed to do. Now, it could be he was mitzar. It could be he was mitzar his parents, staying away so long. I don't know. But the point is that we're talking about here tsar. And really what we're trying to figure out is covered. It's two different things.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, this is giving me a big time to learn Hilchos Kibbud Av V'Em. It's mamish, it's fascinating. The halachas are mamish fascinating.
If you do it, could you call me? I'll come to the house.
Yeah, I don't know when I'm going to do it, but I would love to. I would love to do it.
Maybe Shabbos.
Are these all theoretical questions that Zev's asking, or
no?
Raham,
these questions come up all the time. Mamish, or these Kibbud Av V'Em shilas come up. I'm trying to say them as they go along, but as we go along, but they come up all the time. Okay, well, we'll see. So that's the story of Don Bar. But the main point is Ramosha Feinstein says that he was incorrect. This whole story was incorrect. But fine. If somebody was not Mitzvah V'Oisa, right? So he got rewarded. Mitzvah V'Oisa, somebody who's mechuyev to do it, halachas kama v'kama. Damar Rab Chanina. So somebody who is mechuyev to do something is greater than somebody who's not mechuyev, which is obviously the opposite of what we think. You think a volunteer is more chashuv than a guy that has to do it, right? A fireman that gets paid a salary, you think is not as chashuv as the volunteer fire department in the 5 towns, right? But the Gemara is saying no, a guy who's mitzvah v'oisa is better than a mitzvah. So we'll get back to another important topic. Some Rabbi Yosef Mereish, Rabbi Yosef who was blind. So Mereish Havamina, I thought, Man Dahava Amrli Halacha Karev Yehuda, that the one who says Allah like Yehuda, the Amar Suma Patam and a mitzvahs, who says that a Suma is Patam and a mitzvahs, Avina Yom Tov Rabbanan. I'd make a yomtiv. Why the Halaim Mefkadina? Because I'm not mechuyev. V'havinan, I do it anyways, and I'm a great guy. I'm voluntarily doing. Meaning he was very happy with whoever Pascal like Yehuda who said that a blind person is potter from mitzvahs, because like this, I'm doing the mitzvahs anyway, so I'm going to get a lot of schar. But Hashat Shmaisi Lahadaron Chanina, but now that I heard what Reb Chanina says, that somebody, his Gadol Mitzvah, that somebody who's commanded to do something is better than somebody who's a volunteer. Adarab. Says the opposite. Man Domer Li, they ain't halach Rabbi Yehuda. Somebody who tells me the halacha is not like Rabbi Yehuda, and therefore I'm mechuyev to keep mitzvahs even though I'm blind. I've been the Yom Tov Rabbanan. Now I'm going to make a Yom Tov Rabbanan because I'm mechuyev and I'm going to get bigger schar. Right? Yeah. So basically, we're coming out that Gadol Mitzvah says Yosef Mishain Mitzvah. So why? So Tosfos says Nira. I guess I don't have to really read the Tosfos, but Tosfos says that the reason is that somebody who's Mitzvah V'Oisa is if he's mechuyev to do it, he's constantly scared and he's mitzvah. Maybe he's going to be over, right? If somebody has to do something, then he's scared that he might not do a good job and he might end up being over and he's going to be an aveira. But somebody who's just a volunteer can back out at any time. There's no pressure, right? It's no pressure, right? So therefore,
no comment, Rav Aaron?
You get less schar, right? You get You get less schar, right? That's because there's less tension and there's no nerves. Yeah. So, which you see that, but like here, right? So, if we were all mechuyev to come learn the daf, which I guess we are mechuyev, but I'm saying if it was like school, your kids go to school. They really, I mean, at least by some people, right? Like we hate school, right? Because they're mechuyev to go to school, right? All of a sudden it becomes voluntary, and it's much easier to go, right? Because you could back out. You could back out whenever you want. So that's one big thing. Then Tosfos, another major Tosfos that comes up now on Rosh Hashanah and on Sukkot is from here. Rabbeinu Tam is medaktik that women make a bracha on mitzvah say shazman groma. Right? Women are potter on mitzvah say shazman groma. Right? But can they make, if they do the mitzvah, can they make a bracha? So Tosfos says from the story with Rabbi Yossi, we learn out that you can. Right? Meaning they're not mechuyev, but they can make a bracha. And it's not considered a bracha levatol. Meaning, because otherwise, why would Rabbi Yossi, why would Rabbi Yosef have been happy that he was potter if he's losing out on all these brachas? Right? Meaning Rabbi Yosef originally said he's very happy if this fellow, if Rabbi Yehuda would be right, and then he would have been potter from mitzvahs, so he would voluntarily be keeping all the mitzvahs, right? Because he's potter, he's keeping them anyways. So if the din was that he doesn't make brachas because he's only a volunteer, why would he be happy? He's losing out on thousands of brachas that he's not making.
Because he gets more schar for doing the mitzvah because he wasn't mitzvah. That knocks away not getting the brachas.
No,
you think so?
The second side.
Yeah, it gets away knocks away not getting the brachas. He's on such a higher level because he's doing something he wasn't chayiv to do.
Right, but is
that's the first side? Doesn't the second side?
Tosfos.
It's not true. Once he heard Reb Chanina, he argued.
What?
Once he heard Reb Chanina,
right,
so he would have lost.
Why would he have lost? He would make brach. He would make brachas. He was golem if he was mitzvah v'aisa. No.
No. Now, say before there's 4 stages. The first stage was he thought he was better off not being the Mechuyev.
Right, because he's a volunteer and he's going to get more schar because he's a volunteer. Right? But if a volunteer doesn't make brachas, why would he be happy?
He would have lost. He would have lost all the brachas.
He would have lost out all these brachas. Elamai, he didn't lose the brachas because a volunteer could make brachas. Isn't that what Tosfos is saying?
Oh, I thought it was from the next stage.
What's the next stage? Next stage is that he's happy.
Upset. That he was upset.
Right. Anyways, or whatever it is, but that's from this sugi, whichever, from the ratio, the sefer, whatever it is, Tosfos is bringing a raya that memela, anybody who's potter but is voluntary doing a mitzvah, they can do that. They can say a bracha and it's not a bracha levatala, which is what Ashkenazim paskin. Svardim do not paskin like this. Svardim hold that women are not allowed to make a bracha on shofar and not on lulav and esrog and not on sukkah and whatever other mitzvah says shazman gromas that they do. They don't.
Megillah?
Megillah, I don't know.
Don't they? Isn't there a difference in the lashon? What's the difference in lashon?
Megillah could be because right. They make they.
Doesn't the Baal Kairei say
no, because women are chayim in Megillah, so they can make a bracha.
Oh, so if a woman, for a woman's minyan, if a woman chooses to go to a woman's minyan, she makes the bracha.
Well, the brachas they're davening anyways. They're making brachas of davening anyways. That's not. We're talking about a bracha ala mitzvah, right?
So anyway. Yaakov, is Shechianu considered a mitzvah as a Shazman grama? Shechianu is like a Yom Tiv.
No, Shechianu they can make that they're happy.
Why?
Shechianu is shot that they're happy that they lived to see another.
But it's
Yom.
a Zman Grama.
So, but that this Zman makes them happy that they live to that Zman.
You're saying it has nothing to do with them. It's not a mitzvah. It's not a mitzvah.
No. They're making a bracha on the Yom that they're happy that they got to Yom Tiv. Same way they would be happy. They'd be happy making a bracha on a new fruit. Anyways, okay. So it's late. So wow, is it late? Okay. Kiyasa Rav Dimi. Oh yeah, this I wanted to start this stuff earlier. I wasn't on a different shear. Kiyasa Rav Dimi. Omer Pamachas Hayalav Sir Kunshal Zav. One time I was wearing some sort of coat made out of gold. Right? I was sitting amongst the Chashuvim, Ubasa Imoy, and his mother came, and she tore it off of him, and she hit him on his head. She spat at him, and he didn't say anything. Right? So clearly that's how far he went, not to embarrass his mother. There are those that can feed the father pisyoni, which is a bird that's chashuv, and that's going to cause him to get punished. The kid's going to get punished. And there are those that could be grinding with the father, which is obviously not a good thing. And that will bring him to chayei haba, right? So what's a pshat in this? Meaning some people can be giving. It's all about presentation. Right? Somebody could be giving his father or his mother the greatest food in the world, but he comes and he dumps it on the table and says, what a headache this was, and makes the parents feel bad. So there's Yatza Schari B'Efseda. Ba'Shenkin, you can have a father who is working with the son, and the son's mechazik him and is helping him, and then even though the father's going through a hard time, the son could actually get schar from that. Yeah? Fine. Amar Rabavo, Kagan Avimi Bri, Kayim Mitzvahs Kibbut. Rabavo said, my son Avimi is Mekayim Mitzvahs Kibbut. Why? Because Chamisha Banei Samche Havalei Lavimi B'Chai of it. While Rabavo was still alive, his son Avimi was very matzliach, and he had 5 sons who all had smicha. Chiyav also Rabavo Kori Abav, and when Rabavo would come knock on the door, he would run and he would go and he would open the door himself. Omar, yes, I'm coming there to answer the door. Right? Meaning the point is that he had such covet, he could have really asked his kids to go answer the door, which is what we all do, right? But since he knew it was his father there, he himself ran to do the covet for his father. So Rabavo asked Avimi to bring him water. And when he brought it, Nimnam, he fell asleep. Rabavo fell asleep. And Avimi bent over him and just stood there until his father was ready for the drink. Why he couldn't just put it down on the table, I don't know. There was no table. I don't know. Istaya Milsa, because of this, he was helped out for Darash Avimi Mizmar La'asaf. And then Avimi was able to darshan Mizmar La'asaf, which was, he was having difficult time to understand that Perek in Tehillim. So that gave him like the Siyata D'Shmaya. Right? It's fine. So Amalei Rav Yaakov bar Avu ala Abaye. Me, when I come from yeshiva, Abba Midli Kisa Ba'ima Mazgali. My father pours a kais for me, and my father, he makes a cup and the mother mixes it. Hey, what am I supposed to do? My parents are being machabed me. So he said, from your mother be makabel, but not from your father. Why? Since your father is a learned fellow, he's going to have chalisha sadas that his son is not learned enough to know not to take favors from parents. Right? Which, by the way, is the din. It's another whole. Okay, unfortunately, it's late, but that's a whole other thing. You're not allowed to take favors from parents. Right? You're
not allowed to take money from your parents?
No, you're not allowed to ask your parents to do you a favor. If they voluntarily do it, then you could take it from them. If they don't voluntarily do it, it's not it's what I tell you. It's not pashut. Even here, he's telling him, your father's an educated fellow, don't take the favor from him, and he was offering the favor. Right?
Why did he allow him to take it from the mother? the father was there, wouldn't he have had the same Chalishus Hadas?
Yeah, so I don't know. Maybe the father wasn't there, or I don't know.
It's the same case. They together poured him a cup of wine.
Yeah, I don't know. Not sure
You
how
saying,
that. I'm not sure.
when my son asked me to pick up his laundry now, I shouldn't do it?
If you're willing to do it and you're very happy to do it to help him out, then it's fine. But if the parent is not interested, then the kid cannot take the favor from the parent. Make a adin. Yeah, there's all sorts of terutzim, but it's not pashut. The whole thing is not pashut.
What's the terutzim? What's one?
No, the terutzim are that the parents really do want to help, even though they're complaining, but they're really happy to help. They're happy to do the carpool. They're happy to schlep the laundry and all that. Yeah, fine. Reb Tarfon havaleahi ima. The kol emes davaboy lemesach lepuria. So Reb Tarfon, when his mother wanted to go onto the bed, gachin besolikla, he would bend down and lift her up onto the bed. Meaning, or she would climb on top of him. Chol emes dava nachas, and when she left the bed, nachsa ilave, she would step on top of him. Also become a shtabach me bedrasha, whatever that means. So he came to the yeshiva, Reb Tarfon, and he was praising himself, right? So Amrilei, so they told him, "Adayin lo higata lechatzi kibbut." You didn't even get halfway to kibbut. Klum zarka arna kibbut fanecha liyam v'lo yachlamasa. Did she ever take your wallet and throw it into the water, and you didn't scream at her? Right. So that would be a high level, and if you haven't done that yet, so then you haven't hit it. Fine. Rabbi Yosef, ke'avashama kal kara de'ime. When Rabbi Yosef would hear the
So he's saying only if somebody's father has Alzheimer's, he can be Mekayim, keep it on the aim, otherwise you're not. What is he telling him?
I don't know if it's Alzheimer's. We're going to get to that. But maybe the parent is upset at the kid and took the wallet and threw it into the water. It doesn't mean that the Alzheimer's. I don't think.
It means that if he loses money, if he's losing money over it, so that's a bigger level of kibbutz.
Correct. No, but your father-in-law is saying that maybe what parent would take a kid's wallet and throw it into the water? Must be that they're not normal. And the kid is still not giving the father mussar.
That's it's just a dogma. It doesn't mean he's actually, it means if it's costing the father money.
Whatever, okay. It's anything that ticks off the kid. If you don't say anything, so you don't say anything. Right?
Can't be just a dogma. There's no chiyuv to spend money, your own money on kibbutz.
So that's where it gets into a whole diyun. You're not mechuyev to spend your own money for kibbutz avei. Right? Meaning, your father says, go get me, I need a new suit for Yom. So you go and you buy him a new suit. With whose money? Your money or his money? So the din is very clear, his money. You don't have to spend your money. Unless he has no money, that's a different story. Right? So here, are you mechuyev to lose your money in order to be mechabed? Right? So it's mashma here, yeah. Right? Okay, whatever, that's a whole sugya, but it's late, so fine. Rabbi Yosef ki havashama kol kara de'ime, when he heard the sound of the footsteps of his mother, Amar Eikum mekamei shchina da'asi, I'm going to stand up before the shchina. Fine. Amar Rabbi Yochanan, Ashrei mi shaloi chemon. Praised is the one who never saw his parents. Right? This is such a Litvish line in the Gemara, if I tell you. Right? I don't know, Litvish, whatever. Praise is a guy who doesn't have parents. Right? Why? Because you're not going to be able to do the kibbutz avayim properly. So, meaning safer, how do you call it? A bird in the head is worth two in the bush. Meaning better not to mess up than to have the opportunity to get the mitzvah, but could very well going to be you mess up. Right? There's a story from the Chazon Ish that has propelled me since my father was nifta. My father's Zichron Lebracha. That's tomorrow's daf. I have to say Zichron Lebracha tomorrow. That's at the bottom of the daf actually, right? There's a story with the Chazon Ish. I read this after my father was nifta, where somebody came to the Chazon Ish and said his father just passed away, and they're moving him and his mother, the almana, his wife and they're moving a different town. And should they buy one apartment and live all together like this, the mother will have company, or should they have separate apartments? So the Chazon Ish told him, you should have separate apartments. Why? He says, because when you live with somebody day in, day out, you're going to end up getting agitated at them at some point. And all the schar you're going to get for taking care of your mother is going to go right out the window by getting upset at her once. So like this, better she stays in a different apartment. Yeah. It's wild.
Oh, boy.
It's wild. It's mamish. It's a fascinating Chazon Ish Mustama based on this Gemara. I can't say, obviously, I can't say for sure, but this Gemara certainly backs up that Chazon Ish. But anyways, Rabbi Yochanan ki avrasa imay meis aviv. Rabbi Yochanan, when his mother was a muberes, when she was pregnant, his father died. Yoladatoi, and when he was born, meisa imay, his mother died. V'chein Abaya. And Abaya had the same thing. Abaya didn't have parents. Rabbi Yochanan didn't have parents, and Abaya didn't have parents. Eini v'amar Abaya amrli aim. We know throughout Shas, Abaya is constantly quoting his mother. Ahi me marvenise havai. She was his, what do you call it? Her Imenes, Rashi says. It was like a stepmother, not a nurse. A nurse, I guess. Right? Fine. Ravasi had an older mother. Amra le beina tashitin. She told him, I need jewelry. Avadla, so he got jewelry. Beina gavra, she says, I need a man. Beina gavra, I want a husband. So he said, Nayin loch, I'm going to look. Beina gavra the shopper kavasef, but I need a man that's good like you. So Shavka va'azal la'ara di Yisrael, he realized that his mother is. This is the way most say that he's. I think that his mother's not all there. I'm not sure why. She said she wants to get married and she wants a husband like her son. Isn't that a typical mother thing to say? I don't know why that makes her crazy, right? But okay. But he says he just ran away. He ran away to Eretz Yisrael, right? So the Gra here says beferish miturefes. Says she was messed up in the head, right? So what do you see from this? Right before we go weiter. Is a kid mechuyev when the parents never go crazy and it's too difficult for the kid to deal with them? So from this Gemara, they say that it's mutter to abandon the mother. Whatever, you have to leave somebody to take care of it. The son is not mechuyev to take care of. It's too difficult, and that's the way we pass it. Anyway, Shama the Ka'azla Vasrei. So Rav Asi heard that she's chasing him to Eretz Yisrael. Also, like Rav Yochanan. He came to Rabbi Yochanan. Amrullah, he said to him, you're not allowed to leave Eretz Yisrael only for a good reason. So is he allowed to leave Eretz Yisrael to go to her? Amrullah, Asr, it's Asr. You're not allowed to leave Eretz Yisrael. He stopped asking him, are you allowed to leave Eretz Yisrael? He said no. Likras imama, what about to go to your mother? Amrullah, any idea? I don't know. Which is clearly he's clearing, leaving the mitzvah of Kibbut Aveim is that Daicha leaving Eretz Yisrael. Rabbi Yochanan was not sure. Israch Porta. So he waited a little. Hadaras, he came back. Amalei, Asi Nisratzeis Alatzeis. If you're coming to me, it must be you want to go. Right? Hamakim Yachzircha L'Shalom, may Hashem bring you back here in peace. Right? So it's an interesting thing in Psak. Seems like Rabbi Yochanan wasn't sure. When Ravasi came back, he realized, this is what Ravasi needs. So he said to him, go. Right? That's what it sounds like. But anyways, also look at Rabbi Lazar. So Rabbi Asi came to Rabbi Lazar. Maybe Rabbi Yochanan's angry at me. So Rabbi Lazar said, what did he tell you? Hashem should bring you back peace. If he was angry at you, he wouldn't give you a bracha. They heard that the Aron was coming, meaning his mother passed away. So Amar, had I known that my mother passed away, I wouldn't have left Eretz Yisrael. I would have waited for the Levaya. to come here. Right? Okay, so there's a lot to learn from that whole sugi. It seems like temporarily you'd be able to leave Eretz Yisrael to go for Kibbut Aveim, but it seems like not permanently. Okay. You mechayev parents when they're alive and when they're dead. Mechayev ketzad, how do you do when they're alive? Hanishma b'davar aviv l'makom. Right? If you hear, if you're going to go someplace And if you mention your father's name, they're going to give a kavod. Lo yomer shalchuni b'shvil atzmi. Don't say I'm coming for myself. Say come. I'm coming for my father. Maruni b'shvil atzmi, right? I'm going to go quickly for myself. Patruni b'shvil atzmi, and I'm going to go be pater because of myself. Don't say it because of yourself. Elokulu b'shvil abba. Say, do it for my father. Do it for my father, because that's like showing kavod to the father, right? But Rashi says that that's only in a place where they know who his father was. But if you're going to go to a place and say, oh, I need clothing now because of my father, or you know my father, and they're going to look at you and say, who's your father? Then there's no point in saying anything about your father. That's when it's a lie, when you're alive. So by my side, which I don't understand. So that means when you call up a restaurant order and say, I'd like you to deliver to me food, right? You say to the restaurant, I need the food because of my father, right? I don't know if that's, I don't know. I'm not sure how you understand that exactly. Anyway, but Maitza case, how about after death? If you're saying something over in your father's name, this is what my father says. This is what my father says. I should get the kapara of his death. So what does this mean? So Rashi says, any bad that my father should get punished should come on to me. Right? Rashi in Sukkah, I think. Where's the other Gemara with this? Doesn't seem to say like that. He says that any punishments that come to me should be a kapara for my father. Right? Again, there's a Ramosha Feinstein about this. He says that you cannot get a kapara on behalf of somebody else. Kapara doesn't work like that. You can't shift it. There are others that say that you can shift it. Rashi here is clearly mashma that somebody could take a punishment on behalf of somebody else. Right? But anyway, so that's what Areni Kaparas Mishkavi means. That's only within the first 12 months. Which clearly the minig is just to say Zechron L'Vracha, not L'chai Olam Haba. Another thing I don't understand. That's the thing to be Mechaber Nachamos. Isn't that what Kaddish is and Damin for the Amid is? Why does the Gemara say that? Right? Saying Hareni Kaparas Mishkavi, that's the covenant. I mean, that's also a covenant. But what about the davening for the Amid, learning Lili Nishmas, Tzedakah? It doesn't say that. Okay, I don't know. Tarabana Chacham, Mishana Shem Av V'Shem Rabbi. A Chacham has to change the name of his father and the name of his Rebbe. Turgaman, meaning the one that's saying the shir. Turgaman, the one that's translating, Eina Mishana Lo Shem Av Lo Shem Rabbi, does not have to change the name. So now Gemara says, what's this talking about? Avu Daman, whose father? We're talking about the father of the Meturgaman or Turgaman La Bar Chayuvu. The Turgaman is not Chayiv and Chibur Avaim, and he could just say his father's name like that. Elo Amarava, Shem Av Shachacham, for Shem Rabbi Shachacham. It's talking about the name of the father of the Chacham, right? So the Chacham can't say his father's name, but the Meturgaman can. When he was darshaning at the Perek at the Shir, Iu Amar Abba Mari. He says Abba Mari, and like Avi Mari, and the Amari just said the name. Right. So from this, we see from this, you're not allowed to say over. You're not allowed to say your father's name even after death. So l'chayra, and I don't keep this, but I think I have to start when they call you up for aliyah. Right. So you say to Yaakov ben what? Right? You can't. It's saying not to call the father's name even after death.
What do you mean? You say bechayev. What do you mean? Even when the person's father's alive.
Right, even bechayev. So what do you say then?
Ben Rav.
You say Rav helps. Does Rav help?
Right.
Rav Shalachar. It should be Avi Mairi.
Yeah, but they don't know who Avi Mairi is.
Right. So how does that work? So
why are they calling you up? Why? Let's start with that.
Hey, we're stopping here. We're stopping here in case anybody wants to log off.
Shut off the thing.
You can keep the recording on. You can keep the recording on. Just we're not going back to for those that want to log off. Yeah.
No, I'm saying what is the person supposed to say bechayev?
I'm not sure.